This video is presented by the EA Game Changer program. Now guys, this is a work in progress build, so any issues that you see with the gameplay footage of this game, more than likely they know about it and it is being worked on. Yo, what is going on everybody? It's Lights and I got exclusive Madden 19 gameplay for you guys. I'm rocking with the Ravens, going against the Steelers. Gonna try to get some footage of Lamar Jackson. Although, just to let you guys know, I didn't sub him in right away. I kind of forgot. And once I scrambled with Flacco, I was like, yeah, that's definitely not Lamar Jackson, so let me go ahead and put him in. So this is going to be cool gameplay for you guys. It's actually all Madden difficulty. So for those that play all Madden and the competitive guys, you probably should start playing all Madden. More details soon. But yeah, so I'm not going to commentate on the gameplay. I want to talk about what I know, like, love, hate, dislike about Madden 19. That's the purpose of this video while you guys watch this. But if there's anything that you see from this gameplay that you have questions, concerns, anything, let me know and I'll answer it in the comments. So, you know, all year I've been under NDA. I couldn't really talk about Madden 19, but now that I finally have footage and after EA Play, I can talk about all the things that I know about the game. Now also guys, I would consider myself one of the main game changers, I guess you could say, in regarding gameplay, focusing on improving the game, making sure they are on the right path to making a great game, especially as far as gameplay. So if you guys ever have anything that you want in the game that you feel like would make the game better, if you have any feedback on the game, please don't complain to me, but feel free to hit me up on DM on Twitter or, you know, message me on YouTube so I can make sure that everyone's voice is heard. Like I tried to do a much better job this year at that, looking at everyone's, you know, feedback wish lists on YouTube and social media to see what you guys are talking about, what you guys want, and to make sure they know that. And don't get me wrong, they look at that stuff too, but if I could help in any way to kind of push what the community wants, especially with gameplay, then I'm going to continue to strive and fight to do that. So let's get into it. I want to talk about the two main things that changed from Madden 18 to 19, and that is real player motion and just a huge assortment of animations. Now, I know when you hear animations, you don't always think positively about it, but I think it can be a good thing. So I'll talk about the different changes to animations. You got hit stick animations. Hit stick animations are real. You'll see a video from me doing hit sticks. I'm sure you'll see videos from other people talking and showing hit sticks now in Madden 19 in comparison to previous years. Tackling has been improved with animations. There are some wild catch animations, which hopefully that's a good balance between that and the midair collisions and the SWAT. SWAT animations got improved. I've seen some animations to help defend low ball passes. That seems improved to make sure that that's not as overpowered. You know, I can't guarantee it won't be as overpowered, but I have seen them playing low balls better. Keeping the conversation going with catching, I really like that they at least attempted to get strafe catch on offense back in the game. That's going to be removed. I don't believe that's going to be in Madden 19, but they at least attempted it. It was in the EA Play build. It's probably not where it needs to be right now, but I just like the fact that they're at least trying to give us more control, more player control on every aspect of the game. And trust me guys, regarding player control, there's things still that I'm looking to fight for future Maddens that, you know, is not in the game, that used to be in the game. Let's say like motions, you know, being able to motion a slot receiver to the outside. There were certain limitations in this game that used to not be limitations. So removing those limitations, adding more control, more creativity is something I'm going to definitely continue to keep striving for. But I think they are slowly removing those band-aids, you know, with more confidence in gameplay. You know, the better gameplay is, the more stuff you don't have to limit due to having to worry about like exploits and things like that. But with the game in a better spot means that there's more things you should be able to do. So nano detection, for example, I think that nano detection was much better in 18 than 17. When they first implemented it in 17, there was a lot of cases where you were seeing guys get nano detected, whereas in 18 it didn't happen often. I think the biggest time and issue of when nano detection triggered is from a user defender. Like say you're shooting a gap, you think it's a run, it winds up being a play action, and you kind of get stuck in a nano detection. Or even if you're trying to shoot the gap, like if you're blitzing up a gap, that's way more realistic than like a defensive end coming in free up the gap or a defensive tackle coming in free up the gap. But if you're using a linebacker up the gap, it doesn't look bad as far as gameplay. So they actually did make a change to nano detection. For user controlled players, the timer is going to be less than an AI defender. So you shouldn't see nano detections happening as often, as frequently if you're usering the guy. And I'm cool with that. I think that is a good change. Now, some other key things that you might not know about regarding player control additions to Madden 19, you got the Halfback Float. So what the Halfback Float is, it's for any shotgun play. If the running back, let's say, is starting on the left of the quarterback, you can motion that running back to the right. So let's take gun bunch strong, right? Gun bunch strong is a formation that's bunched to the right. The running back is on the right. If you wanted to motion the running back to the left in Madden 18, he would not go to the left of the quarterback. Instead, he would go to the left slot receiver, right? Which means a formation like that, or let's say even gun doubles, it's hard to block where the tight end and running back are on the same side. If a blitz is coming from the left side, it's tough to pick up that pressure. Well, with Halfback Float, you can motion the running back to the left. You could actually motion the running back twice. So in Gun Bunch Strong, for example, you can motion the running back to the left of the quarterback and then motion him again to that left slot receiver. Now, one thing I did not know about, and actually Master Gamer found it in EA Play, is you can motion a receiver and then also motion the halfback. So you could do two motions technically, as long as you motion the receiver first and then the halfback. So if you're in Gun Trips tight end and you want to motion one of those receivers to the right, then you could motion the running back to the left. So some cool different route combinations you might be able to create in certain formations, and also be able to pick up the necessary blitz pressures if you know what's coming. That's a great addition. Also, something you might not know about is any one of your first adjustments you make as you're breaking the huddle on offense, it's free. You're not going to have a QB animation. I'll get into QB animations in a second, but the first thing that you make, the first adjustment you do on offense, your opponent won't know. So that is doing your first hot route, your first slide protection, which was in Madden 18 and any of the other Maddens. But one main difference with this Madden that you couldn't do in other Maddens is you could flick the run to either side of the field without your opponent knowing, and you could do that right away. So let's take a play like Pistol Bunch tight end, strong power. A lot of people like to run the strong power to the receiver side because there's potential for more blocking. Well, if you ran that in Madden 18 or in years past, your opponent would know that you're flicking the run. But if you broke the huddle in Madden 19 with Pistol Bunch tight end strong power, you could flick that run as you're breaking the huddle, and you could quick hike it essentially. So that's a really cool change. Now, there are some negatives with QB animations. The animations are a little bit longer than in the past. Also, now there's an animation for slide protection and ID the mic, which I don't believe there was in past Madden. So if you're going to ID the mic, there's a little animation that happens. For every hot route, there's still an animation. For every audible, there's an animation. Now, it is cool that every quarterback pretty much has different animations, especially the popular quarterbacks. So that's going to be visually cool. But in a gameplay perspective, especially for competitive guys, you're not going to like it as much. But at the end of the day, they're not making the game just for us. So that's a hard argument to fight to not have that in the game, because it does look cool. And as long as they listen to our feedback, we mentioned that we want to make sure it's not too long, that it's like not that much of an apparent change from last year as far as the animations. And they have listened to the feedback. They already shortened the animations, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. But it's definitely something, to be honest, that I wasn't really happy about. That's just mainly because I don't really care how the game visually looks. I just care how it plays. And to be fair, since they're still working on it, I'm not going to judge it until I see the game at launch and how short or how long those animations truly are. But I know that they are listening to our feedback, and especially like at the end of the game or at the end of the first half when you don't have time to mess around with animations, they know that we voiced that to them. So hopefully those changes are made. As far as player celebrations, a lot of them were really cool. Actually, at EA Play, they were having fans do their own celebrations to possibly get into the game. No, I didn't do it. I probably would have did something corny. Probably like showcasing a flood, like maybe on a surfboard or something like that, which I probably wouldn't have been able to depict what I want. But I think that would maybe be a cool celebration that would happen like after you're winning by like 21 points or something like that. I don't know. But if they keep adding celebrations, I think that would add some freshness to the game. And that's something really cool to see. Maybe even, being able to implement that in Madden Ultimate Team where you could pick certain custom celebrations. I don't know. That's just me hoping that happens, but that's not like a confirmed thing or anything. Alright, so enough of animations. Let's get into real player motion. And I'll start off with the run game. So obviously at this point, you probably know real player motion affects everyone, not just the running back, not just the ball carrier. It's going to affect everyone. So that is probably why the game feels slow to a lot of people. And the game is slower. So that's something that we are going to need to be adjusted to. Now, I will say in the run game, the ball carrier, I feel like I have more control with the left analog stick for sure, especially when making cuts and doing like the one cut and things like that. Now, my main issue with this is I didn't feel like the acceleration, like pressing the right trigger, RT or R2, I didn't feel like it was enough of a difference between pressing that and not pressing it. So I'm kind of hoping that, I did voice that to them, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe that gets increased a little bit, so where if you are running a straight line and you're pressing the turbo, the acceleration, that, you know, you will feel a lot faster than when you're not. But as far as just holding the left analog stick, I liked it. You know, being able to go into the holes, running into blockers, doing the hit the hole and push the pile, it felt good. Like that, it definitely felt a lot more realistic, and I felt the control in comparison to previous years. I love the fact that you don't need to rely on fake outs to move the ball, or relying on just the truck, or getting any type of animation with the right stick. You know, the use of the right stick won't be as important this year than last year. And that's what made the running game to me last year was very, very poor. I didn't like it at all. It was not fun to me. So I think this is a great improvement from last year. The fact that it's going to be more skill based and more fun. Now again, with the acceleration, something I don't think I was doing, and it's probably why I wasn't having success holding the acceleration when running, is when you do hold acceleration, you really don't want to make any cuts at all. Like, if you're going to make cuts, you want to let go of the acceleration. They kind of want you, when using the acceleration, to run straight, to run in a straight angle. Once you start, you know, swerving or trying to move left and right or something like that when holding the acceleration, you're not going to have success and you're going to slow down. So that's a learning curve, but it's a good learning curve. Now, regarding the one cut, I started getting much better at it, you know, towards the end of EA Play, but it was a lot harder than when I previous played the game a long time ago. One cut was like almost OP when they first like implemented it to us to try, in comparison to now, where it's like the pursuit on defense plays it so well. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets tuned up slightly more at launch, just to make it a little bit more effective, because it's super fun. Like, it's a super good skill move that's fun to do, and there is a defensive counter, which is the strafe burst, so there should be a good balance between the two. Not to mention the other running back moves that you could do. Steerable moves are still good. Steerable spin, I really like. Tackling. Now, with tackling, like I said, there are a lot of tackling animations, and the hit sticks are amazing, but the timer to get the hit stick is harder than previous years. I remember making a Madden 18 vid on hit sticks, and I said that it's going to be tougher this year than the past. Well, 19 is even harder. I think it's much harder to get a hit stick in 19 than 18. But when you do get it, the animations are great. So what I would advise you doing is going for regular conservative tackles at first, to prevent from getting hit with the one cut and any type of running back move. So to click on and make that tackle, click on, press A or X on PlayStation, and you should be good to go. It's not going to be as easy as I'm saying it. You need to be getting in good position, but that's where the skill is going to come into, of the usering of the ball carrier and the usering of making the tackle. And if you don't user the tackle, you can be hit with a fake out. So remember, I made that video on the top 10 legacy fixes, is that user defenders aren't going to get faked out unless they have really low pursuit. Well, AI defenders can still get faked out. So if you're going to rely on the computer to make tackles, that can be an issue. So if you usually let the computer do a lot for you, this might be the year that you have to adjust and change that. Especially when defending aggressive catches, I noticed that receivers are getting just really, really good catch animations, especially versus the CPU. Like, you throw it up and, you know, you expect the defense to get a swat, and they're not going for the swat. They might be going for play receiver or something else. And of course, it is a work in progress build, but like, for what I played at EA Play, I noticed that clicking on defense and going for the pick or swat was much better than letting the defense do it for you. And I'm 100% cool with that, because, you know, it should be skilled. Of if a receiver, if you throw it up and you click on your receiver to get an animation to combat it, you probably should click on the defensive back and get in position to make a play. So I noticed that clicking on, even in that aspect, is important. Positioning looks pretty important. You know, even in double coverage, if the receiver boxes out the defenders and has good position, he comes down with the ball sometimes. So you really got to click on, get those midair collisions with the swat, and then when you feel comfortable, then you could go for the pick. But the safe bet, the safe option, is definitely the swat. And the reason why I think the swat's going to be good is because you're going to notice that the separation that guys are getting are way less than past Maddens. Whether that be man coverage, zone coverage, match coverage, the way that defenders play. Like, this is one of the things I'm most excited about, is the way they're playing coverage. Especially the difference between the first time I got my hands on the game in comparison to EA Play. the coverage was night and day. Like real player motion, now that it's like fully in the game, I mean, the way that they're moving to defend routes is incredible to me. And I know it's hard to like talk about EA Play coverage because of last year, right? Like the coverage, everyone loved the coverage in Madden 18 EA Play, and then at launch it was much worse. Well, I think that was more of a bug than anything, where, you know, almost everyone was like 91 zone for EA Play defense, and then they couldn't ship it like that. I don't know the exact reasoning, but the way I'm seeing it in defense in Madden 19, it's not overpowered. It's just like literally, let's take like a deep zone, right? If there is a streak attacking that deep zone, he's going to play the streak. But if there's no streak, and let's say it's a post, he's going to put himself in position to play the post, at least initially. Like, take a cover 2, or let's say, because I use this as an example, cover 6, where the cover 2 side of cover 6 was on the left, right? So you have the safety that's in a deep half. And then I was in gun split close, halfback wheel. The left receiver was on a post route. That safety actually played, like he turned his hip and went and played the post route until the post route cleared his zone. So eventually the post route could have got open, not versus cover 6 because the other safety is playing it, but the safety at least played the one guy that was in their area. Whereas I did another example of I had that post and I had a streak to the outside, and the safety disregarded the post because he needed to play the streak. So it's like, if there is anyone attacking their zone, they're not just backpedaling and just playing drop coverage. Like, they're literally playing guys that are in their area, which is something that I've never seen in a Madden, and it's super impressive. And I think real player motion is the reason for that, so I'm excited about that. Another example to paint a picture, let's take gun bunch, a flood to the right. You have a flat corner fade, right? If you have the outside receiver on a fade, the deep zone, say cover 3, will play the fade. But without a fade, let's say they did a flat corner drag. And I have examples of this. I'm going to show breakdowns of every single zone coverage, video by video. Like I have a video on just cover 3, a video on just cover 4, a video on just cover 2, all the improvements. But let's say they had that route combo of a flat, a corner, and a drag. Since there's no one attacking deep other than the corner route, that deep zone actually will play the corner route. Like, he'll actually put himself in good position. He'll play to the inside first and then play towards the break to the sideline. And it's something I've never really seen. You know, like last year they were able to defend corner routes, but it was unrealistic. Like, he would back all the way up, and then as soon as the quarterback would cock back to throw the ball, he would jump down unrealistically, and that's why everyone hated the 91 zone. But in this year, it's more position based. Like, they don't react on the ball as fast, at least not what I played at in EA Play. But there's less space. There's less people wide open because the defenders are not backing up for no reason. They're playing the guys that are in their area. Now, as far as man coverage was ridiculous at EA Play, but I think that's actually going to get tuned down a little bit because from what Clint told me, it was a bug where everybody had like pretty much 99 man coverage. Like, everyone was playing man coverage as good as possible, even linebackers. So that made match coverage just as good because match is zone turning into man. So I have to see how that's going to be at launch. But at the very least, if the top end guys play match and play man like what I seen at EA Play, it's great. Because when I tell you that C routes are getting stopped by man, like even man off coverage, and cover 4 turns into man. So like you call cover 4 quarters, and that's off coverage man essentially on the ISO side. If they run a corner strike C route, the C route's getting guarded. The C route's getting guarded by a deep blue in cover 3. Like, just the way that they're playing, it's so much better. But it's almost too good in man coverage. I think they have to tune it down a little bit. It is much better than Madden 18 though. So when I say tune down, I don't mean tune down for Madden 18. I mean just tune down from where it's at EA Play. But yeah, so smart routed out routes, C routes versus man coverage, they weren't getting open, at least in EA Play. I didn't spend too much time on shading just because without shading, they were guarding most routes. So when the game launches, I'm definitely going to check all the shades to see how that affects man and even zone coverage. Match in general, like cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms, it's really cool. There's new match principles in cover 3, like verse, trips, and bunch sets. Cover 3 is actually going to turn into Mabel, so the hook zone like mans up on the corner route. I have clips and footage of that, so I'm going to show you that soon. Also, cover 3 press actually bumps. So if you call a cover 3 press play and the defense is pressed, they will bump the outside receivers even though they're in deep outside thirds. Now cover 2, mid reads are much better. Like I said, just like hook zones and deep zones, all zones just play the routes that are attacking much better. And again, I'm going to show you specific videos on each coverage. Now, there are negatives to what I was seeing in coverage. There was a lot of warping issues. You would throw the ball up and a guy sometimes would just like fly and disappear. It was a clear bug, and they said they already fixed it, thankfully. It just was an EA play, but it's not going to be at launch. Also, I don't know if this is a warp issue, but like throwing to the flat, sometimes the zones would just not break the way they needed to. So I know that they're doing some more work on breaking on ball, and that should be good to go by launch. Speaking of break on ball, I mentioned in my top 10 legacy fixes and gameplay improvements, the whole 91 zone change, where 99 zone is the new 91, and anything less than that has a chance at breaking fast, but it's not guaranteed. And there's 3 times where you would break on ball. You break on the cockback of the throw, you break on as the ball is getting released, or you break after the ball gets released. So the higher the zone, the more chance that you're going to break on the cockback of the throw. But let's say you're 90 zone, you might lose the chance at throwing after the ball's released. So maybe, you have a really good chance at breaking as the ball is being released, but you also have that chance at breaking on the cockback. And like I said, guys, with the position of the zone, man, and match defense coverages, you don't necessarily have to rely on breaking on the ball because they're already in good position. If you click on, you should be able to fight to break up the pass. Now, the better they break on the ball, the better it's going to be, but it's not a necessary thing that needs to happen. Kind of like Madden 18, where if they didn't break on ball, they were so far away from the route, they would never stop it. But now that the positioning of the defenders are actually playing guys in their area, the spacing, the guys aren't wide open, so you don't need them to break on ball super unrealistically fast. You just need them to react, but clicking on is going to help too with that. So I would say it's not going to be like last year where you absolutely need the high zone guys, but it still will be helpful. If you want to know more about specific coverage changes, definitely subscribe to the channel and definitely turn on your notifications because I'm going to do separate videos on each coverage, and that's coming in the next couple of days. All right, moving on to now depth chart changes. So like the player archetypes, now we have short route running, intermediate route running, deep route running, and I see a lot of people talking on Twitter of like what that's going to mean to the game. Well, I can't give you a definite answer, but based off Madden 18, if you remember, like once you hit, I think it was 90 route run or 91 route run, the routes actually changed. Like they got like sharper. The route visually looked different on the screen, and it cut differently. So let's say that stays the same, and I actually don't know for sure if it is staying the same, especially I don't know if it's 90 or 91 that makes that change happen. Well, now that there's 3 different route run stats, it's going to separate the player a little bit. An Edelman might only have short route run at 91 plus, or he might have intermediate too, but he doesn't have deep, whereas someone like Antonio Brown might have all 3. So that would separate what he could do and what routes work for him in comparison to other specialty receivers. And I think that's going to be great for Madden Ultimate Team, to where, depending on the offensive scheme you run and the formation you run and what routes you run in certain spots, you might need to have a good short route runner at your slot. You might need to have a good deep route runner at your outside left receiver spot. And it's not just one threshold that is met, whereas someone's a good route runner, boom, he could run every route perfectly, whereas now there's 3. So it separates the really, really good overall route runners and then the specialty guys that maybe only are good at attacking deep but not good at attacking short, and vice versa. Now, another change that I want to mention that has to do with the new depth chart assignments that you could do in CFM and MUT and any type of gameplay is sub linebackers. So I don't really care as much as doing it in the depth chart. I more so care about doing it, in the play call screen, because as a hardcore gamer, competitive guy, I don't really care too much about depth chart because you can make all the changes in game, right? Well, there's something that not a lot of people are talking about, and it's the fact that in nickel, dime, and I believe even dollar, the linebackers are sub linebackers. You actually could sub in safeties at the linebacker spot. So you take nickel normal, those linebackers, you could actually put in safeties. You could sub in safeties in those spots. So that's really cool. Guys that could play coverage, have some block shed that could stop the run, like someone like the Honey Badger, he has a lot more importance now. You could probably build a Madden Ultimate Team of guys like Mel Blount, Dick Lane, guys like that are good at both stopping the run and the pass. Those guys you could probably put at linebacker and have success. So that kind of changes the game up a little bit of what formations you want to use and having more speed, more athleticism in the game depending on the personnel you're facing. If you're facing an I form or a 2 tight end set, you probably wouldn't sub in safeties at linebacker. But if you're facing 4 wide, 5 wide, you might want to sub in 1 or 2 safeties at the linebacker spots to have better pass coverage. So that I think is awesome. Some other miscellaneous things with Madden 19. Target passing is out of the game, which means low pass is now using the left trigger. You got protect the sticks, works very good now. For those that want to practice against Madden Ultimate Team teams, we now have a Legends team and a Elite team in play now that you could play against, like the best players. So that's a really good way of labbing against Madden Ultimate Team teams. And we also have a new playbook for each. So we have an Elite playbook and a Legends playbook. Both playbooks are fire. I'm going to exclusively break down each one in a separate video. Make sure you do not miss that. That's coming out in a day or so. I think the Elite playbook might be the best playbook I've ever seen, at least if it stays like what it was at EA Play. I'm going to do a video on Big Nickel over G. I really like that defense. I like all the new plays, cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms. They have a cover 6 invert. They have a cover 6 trap. That 4 lock palms play that is half cover 0, half cover 4. That was filthy. We have those improvements to coaching adjustments. If you didn't watch my top 10 gameplay improvements and legacy fixes, you need to check that out. I highlight all of the changes that were made as far as coaching adjustments. I didn't actually really test that too much at EA Play, but I'm happy that that was addressed for sure. We have real player motion affecting blitzes. So that could either be in a good way or a bad way. But either way, it's going to be different than last year. So at the very least, we'll see some different things. Although Crossfire did still work, it's probably going to work a little bit different. But there were some changes to blitzes because the guys that are rushing, the angles, are more realistic because of that RPM. So it's going to be really cool and interesting to see how that's changed and how we have to lab now to find blitzes. If it's more realistic blitzes and schemes, I'm cool with that as long as we keep having strategy. This is still a football game at the end of the day, so there needs to be strategy, and blitzing and scheming is definitely part of that. Also, guys, there was one thing I mentioned in my top 10 legacy fix video. I put it in my PowerPoint, but I actually didn't say anything about it, and that is zone specific adjustments. Now, no matter what you do, a middle linebacker will always have middle linebacker zone adjustments to them. Same thing with safeties. So it doesn't matter if you baseline press or baseline show blitz. In the past, like last year, if you baseline pressed in certain formations, the hot routes that you can make with your safety would change depending on that. Well, now it's like if you have a free safety, that free safety will be able to make those hot route adjustments no matter what you do, no matter where he is on the field. Even if you don't baseline, same thing with a middle linebacker. If you are facing a trip set and you don't baseline, that's not going to affect the type of adjustments you can make with that defender. And I think that's going to be really helpful. I think we'll actually see more man-aligned defenses than base-aligned because of that. So that is it for now on everything I know about Madden 19 so far as gameplay, the things I liked a lot, the things that I didn't like so much. Overall, I'm definitely excited about the game. I can't wait to get my hands on it. And I can't wait to share more gameplay and footage and tips for you guys that I have from EA Play that I'm going to break down in the next couple of days. So again, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not. Make sure you click that bell, turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of these videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll actually see you guys in the comments. If you have any questions, any concerns, any statements, anything you want to talk to me about. This was a long video, so I'm down to talk to anyone that has any questions or anything in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. It's Lights for MaddenDaily.com. Later, fellas. P.S. I quit this game for whatever reason. I still don't know why I did it, but unfortunately I don't have the end of this game, so this is going to be the end of the gameplay. Hope you guys enjoyed what I had to talk about and what I had to show as far as early Madden 19 footage. This channel is going to be a great spot to find out more about the game, so stay tuned and locked in for the next one.